Hello. Today's February 3rd, 2024. It feels like the February 3rd should be like the Super Bowl or something, but we have to wait a little while yet for that. Anyways, today I want to talk about not talking at all. And so like the premise is just sometimes there is not a whole lot to talk about, like I've been making journals every day, and there are some things that I want to discuss, but I'm sort of just up in the air on whether or not I want to turn them into actual videos, or there's something or there's not enough there, and I'll just talk about it and reflect on it, because the lines sort of start to get blurred when you reflect on things daily, but then you go to make an actual video. But really the key here is I don't have anything to say about like my own life per se, and that's okay. Like sometimes you don't really have a grasp on how your life is going per se. I don't know, I'm talking really vaguely because that is sort of the truth of the matter. I don't have a really good gauge of what's going on right now, to be honest, because like life is moving fast, and I think that that's okay. We don't always have to intellectualize and internalize what's going on. Sometimes if you reflect on the last few days and you realize that you're doing something wrong, you learn about yourself in hindsight. But it's not as if I can just sit around and wait to find out how my life's been going, if that makes sense. I hope it does. Like, oh geez, there's a big plane. The plane just completely threw me off my train of thought. But yeah, so yesterday, I'll try to contextualize it a little bit. Yesterday, yesterday I didn't have any work, but I had just this splitting headache. So like, I couldn't really think about much. It's kind of just existing, and I think that's a good thing in some regard. Like, obviously I wish I didn't have my headache, but sometimes you just gotta exist, and you can't really, if that's the way that you're sort of pushed into, just existing and not really thinking about a whole lot, I think that's fine. Now, I suppose you would draw the line when all you do is just exist and you're not really thinking and retrospecting. To me, I think we should be retrospecting, at least on like a sporadic basis. I've never been one to throw caution to the wind, and like the people in my life that I used to be close to that are like that don't really introspect, I've just gotten further away from, because when you're not introspecting, when you're not thinking about things, you kind of just do what everyone else does, and you go with the flow. And if that's what you want to do, that's completely fine. But for me, I want to be a little more cultivated than that. I want to be a little more calculated than that. So yeah, this journal is going to be really messy because I just don't have a whole lot to talk about. Meanwhile, I'm reflecting on hope in a hopeless world, which I hope will be ironic. I hope will be tomorrow's journal. You get down when you think about some of the current affairs that are going on in the world, but then you remember, like, I read a good paper on pessimism that sort of discusses how like progress is pretty quiet, and because it's quiet because it's incremental. Now, I kind of object to that premise in the sense that it almost feels like Ronald Reagan when he says, like, capitalism raises all boats, or whatever you mean. You know what I mean. I don't necessarily agree with that, because while it might make everyone better off, the disparity grows, and then, you know, that's just a matter of proportionality, which some people struggle to understand. But before I go too political, let's recalibrate. I'm off to work right now. I'm cutting it pretty close. I have had a meandering morning. You know, I let my sports teams affect me too much. In my soccer team, Tottenham Hotspur. Come on, you Spurs! My soccer team had a heartbreaking draw as Everton. They scored in extra time to equalize, and so Spurs tied instead of winning. And now I'm just like, now I'm upset about it. But I also had a later night last night than I would have wished. It kind of, you know, that was a consequence of me just choosing to exist yesterday. Kind of just got sucked up in doing things that were presented to me, you know, like going with the flow, which I had a great time last night. I went to dinner with my friends, and I checked out my friend's new car, which is sexy. Shout out Turbo. If you know, you know. But, you know, after that, we just chilled at my friend's house. And I have such a toxic relationship with fun. I've got to do a better job with it. You know, there's me saying that I don't want to, but I've got to, and I'm going to. You know, I don't really have much room for error when school comes back, which is it is in 2 days now, or I guess a day. It depends on how you look at it. But you know, maybe that's another reason why my brain's sort of going on autopilot, because I don't want school to come back. That could very well be the case. Yeah. So sort of back-to-back days with pretty all over the place journals, but it happens sometimes, you know. Like, I'm gonna do this the way that I feel represents me the most, and the way that I feel it should be done. And I'm not just gonna bullshit some like introspective video every day, because you can't expect that to happen, you know. And while this is extremely meta-ironic, because I'm talking about introspection, which is sort of inherently introspective, and how there's no introspection lately, like, you know, you can fall down into that line of thinking. But, you know, most of the journals lately have had like a theme that I talk about, so that's where I'm coming from. There's really no theme here, I guess. Sort of just like how the journals back in the day were. You know, we're coming up on Journal 50. This might actually be Journal 50, which, if that's the case, then congratulations, everyone. We've made it to a pretty decent milestone. You know, some of the journals have done well, and I love to see it, because while I love making video essays, I do like these videos a lot, because I think it's more just me, and you know, some sense of like the self sort of gets lost in making a point about the world, which most of my video essays are. I don't know, I've never really thought about it that way until now, so I'll have to introspect about that. But, you know, this is more just daily Kev Gep. Yeah. It's a nice day outside. Yesterday was pretty terrible, which I'm gonna have to, I have to think that that's why I had such a bad headache yesterday. Not that it matters to y'all. So after work, I'm gonna go back to the Bay Area with my girlfriend. And we're gonna take some photos for her class, and then after that, I believe I'm going out to dinner with my cousin and his girlfriend. They did me and my girlfriend a big favor a while ago, so I'm just gonna take them out as a way to say thank you. I believe that's tonight. We'll have to see. But if not, then I'll just have a chiller night. I'll make some TikToks, or maybe not. Maybe I'll just hang out with my girlfriend, considering I have work in the morning and my girlfriend lives much closer to work than I do. I don't know how personal I really want to get on the public side of the journals, but I might have to move out of where I'm living soon, which also creates a layer of suspense and stress. And if you've made it this far, you deserve it. You deserve to hear me expose myself. The situation I'm in right now, I'm like half living on my own, half not, I would say. Without going into too much detail. So if I do move out, it would be the first time truly on my own, which is definitely an interesting thought, that's something brand new. I might look older than I am. Someone told me that they thought I would be in my 30s the other day. I was like, that's pretty crazy. I haven't heard that one yet. But no, I'm only 22, so I can feel alright about myself for not having moved out of the house yet, I feel, considering I'm in college. But anyways, enough moral grandstanding, I suppose. I'm going over a bridge right now. This video is just ADHD out the wazoo. Yeah. Is that enough talk? Do I have anything else I want to say? Probably not. Well, I actually do. I actually do have something I want to say. It's like, I get wrapped up in the YouTube analytics, obviously, especially when I post every day. It sort of just like feeds into me checking them. And with a few of my journals blowing up, it's like there's a side of me that wants to take advantage of, my videos reaching the algorithm a bit better. And I have to assume subconsciously that's why I've made like more prepared journals, sort of like really casual video essays to some extent. And I don't really know how I feel about that on my end. Because like I was talking about just a few minutes ago, my main priority is authenticity and just navigating the world and not really falling on. No, I don't know how to really put this. But selling out. I just don't want to sell out. And I can see that to some extent you sort of have to make it in a capitalist society. But my goal is to limit that. And so, when YouTube almost teases me in a way with putting my videos in the algorithm more than usual, it encourages me to sell out. And I don't know, there's really, really something to be said about the algorithm and how we create. And I'm going to write a video about it. I just, I'm not going to beat myself up about not having it done yet, but I need to get on that. Anyways, that's about it. Today's Saturday, so enjoy your Saturday if you have day off. If not, then, you know, at least you can probably enjoy tonight, since it's a weekend night. Yeah. Life has been moving fast. And that's about it. Peace and love.